Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Mike Elko, Texas A&M, Wednesday afternoon. Land what I think is a very fascinating commitment from four-star linebacker Storm Miller. Now, it's fascinating to me for really two different reasons. One, the football player. Storm Miller, you like a lot, especially the name, especially where he's from. Strongsville, Ohio. Storm Miller linebacker. That itself should sell a lot of Texas A&M fans. But I think just as importantly, this is a really intriguing recruiting win where Mike Elko goes up into the heart of Big Ten country in the state of Ohio and lands, a linebacker that was really high on a lot of Big Ten boards, including Michigan, including Ohio State. Not only a really good football player, but to me, a very impressive recruiting win for Mike Elko and this Texas A&M staff. Now you start talking about Storm Miller. One, the production, very impressive. 90 tackles, 20 TFLs, 10 sacks, and interception coming out of a really impressive junior year. You look at Storm Miller, I think where you want to start is these are the kind of linebackers you want to fill your roster with. In this modern era of college football, linebackers are being asked to do so much and being asked to drop back in coverage, go out and play in space, go sideline to sideline. You need big, you need long, but you need athletic linebackers. And Storm Miller at 6'3", 220. Like there is some intriguing long speed to him. There's an intriguing ability to play in space that you want to bet on these kids. At the end of the day, we talk about this all the time with Mike Elko. We are going to bet on size and speed. And a Storm Miller, 6'3", 220, with some really impressive movement skills. This is right up Mike Elko's alley. Give me the best athletes. I'll make them good football players. Mike Elko's been doing that ever since he got to College Station, and that ain't slowing down anytime soon. Want to get a little bit into the film of Storm Miller, talk about what he brings to the table for Texas A&M. Before we do, and as always, the Texas A&M fans, appreciate you guys. It been really fun talking this program in terms of how Mike Elko has gone about building this roster during his first year and a half. Ton of support from y'all. Appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, what I think intrigues me the most about Storm Miller is he's a really versatile dude. He's not just this run and chase linebacker. When you look at a lot of linebackers coming out of high school, they're big, fast, and they can go tackle. You look at Storm Miller and say, yeah, he can do all of that. But he's a guy that can drop back in coverage. And because of that size and length, he is a force in some of those underneath zone coverages. He's a hard guy to fit or to kind of find throwing windows around because of his size. I think number two, you see him line up all over the football field. You see him play off-ball linebacker, but you also see him come off the edge. And I'll tell you this, he is going to give Texas A&M some serious pass rush juice at some point during his career. Because you look at him and say he's very comfortable coming downhill and getting after the quarterback. So you can rely on Storm Miller to, drop back in zone coverage, go sideline to sideline, chase down running backs in the flat. You can ask him to rush the passer, whether it's off the edge, whether it's between the A or B gap. He's one of those versatile linebackers you can ask to do pretty much anything. And I think those are the kind of linebackers you want to build your defense around in this modern era of college football where these offenses are going to want you to play in space. You got to have linebackers that can do it. Getting into a little bit of the film, it's a really intriguing film study because you do see him do so many different things. Number one, off-ball linebacker, dropping back in coverage, exceptional feel for dropping back in coverage, right? Reading the quarterback's eyes. And because of all that length, hey, we can get up into throwing windows that you're not a shot at Torrey York, but, a guy like Torrey York probably can fill. You see him coming off the edge. This is where he does the primary of his work. He comes off the edge, really good at picking through traffic is probably something I should have noted at the beginning. Whether it's just taking on blocks, whether it's getting underneath blocks, he does an exceptional job keeping himself clean, whether it's coming off the edge, whether it's coming from the second level. Really good at the point of attack in terms of getting off blocks as well, like block destruction. Guy that lives in the backfield, evident with 20 TFLs, 10 sacks, power in the hands. This is what you want your linebackers to look like. There's some serious power here, and there's some serious motor as well. Coming off the edge once again, really does a nice job playing some of these read option looks where it's like, hey, I can really do both. If that running back wants to take it, I'll go make a play. If that quarterback takes it, I'll go backside and chase him down. Guy that can make an impact from a lot of different ways. Again, really good pass rusher. Speed to power, going right through, getting your hand up, making a play. Knack for making plays. You look at Texas A&M in 2026. To me, I'm really encouraged in terms of what this 2026 cycle can look like. Not only because you have 10 commitments in the fold, your top 5 class as you go into these summer official visits, but more importantly, like take note of the amount of talent that is coming and checking out College Station. Now, you're not going to land every single visit that takes place for Texas A&M. Texas A&M is putting themselves in the running for a lot of really good football players in 2026. That's going to translate when it comes to signing day and it's time to, sign your class. How Mike Elko is going about building this roster, I think he's doing a great job of it. Hey, we're going to focus on the high school recruiting trail. We're going to sign really big classes, but we're not going to be afraid to go out and make some impact moves in the transfer portal as well, especially in the beginning phase. Now, I think as Mike Elko has, more time to stack his recruiting classes the way he wants it to stack, we'll probably be a little less reliant on the transfer portal over the next couple of off seasons. But we've seen Mike Elko, hey, we're going to do a really good job on the high school ranks, consistent top 10, top 5 classes. We are also going to not be afraid to go address our needs in the transfer portal as well. To me, that is the fundamental key to building a good roster, a championship roster. Right? There are a lot of programs that don't have that recipe right. You look at a team like Colorado or a team like Ole Miss, where we're going to ignore the high school trail, be flashy in the transfer portal. That to me, we'll see how Colorado and Ole Miss do in 2025. But to me, that's not necessarily a sustainable model. It's not that you don't use the transfer portal. It's just you don't rely on building your roster through it. And I think Mike Elko's done a really good job. Hey, we're going to use the portal. We're going to go bring in some guys that are difference makers for a football team, but we're not going to be relying on it. And the bulk of our production, the bulk of our roster is going to come from the high school ranks where we get to really develop these guys over the next couple of years. We'll close it out there. It sounds like it's shaping up to be a really fun next couple of months for Texas A&M on the recruiting trail. Not necessarily because they have a ton of commitments in the fold right now, but the amount of players they are seemingly trending for, really exciting. And again, this recruitment win right here, going up into the state of Ohio, landing, one of the more impressive players from that Big Ten region, a guy that Ohio State wanted, a guy that Michigan wanted. That's where it starts. We'll close it out there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later.